Good morning. As you could see from the previous clips there, we have a very cold and rainy, blustery day here. Oh, and you would have seen we had a little friend sheltering. The little bird was just sort of sitting up in the rafters on the patio there, trying to shelter from the rain. So I have made myself, it's Saturday here for me, I have made myself a very delicious Saturday morning breakfast. I have scrambled eggs, I've got half of an organic lamb sausage, a little bit of avocado, some strawberries. Now these are chips, they are hot chips. They are from a company called Proper Chips, and they are literally just potato and sunflower oil. That's it. They are, look, I'm not gonna lie, they are a little bit expensive, and because it just seems sometimes the less ingredients you have, the more expensive something is, but they are delicious, and they aren't full of all sort of the filler ingredients or anything like that. So I've made myself my absolutely scrumptious breakfast. I have a cup of green tea, my Japanese sencha green tea here, and I've actually just popped back into bed. I've got sort of the doors and that open in my room, and I've just popped back into, I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if you can hear that over the camera. It is just so crazy windy. It's just rainy and cold and just the epitome of a snuggle day. So yes, I popped myself back into bed, and I'm just gonna have a very slow, easy breakfast this morning. Just really appreciate this sort of day. We are very fortunate that we don't get a lot of cold, rainy, windy days like this. So I'm just gonna take the morning, have a slow breakfast, enjoy my cup of tea, and maybe just catch up on the news a little bit. I've got my Richard Osman book that I'm still reading here, and just maybe cozy down and read for a little bit before I sort of get into my day and start tackling my tasks. So I'm going to dig into my breakfast now before it gets cold, and I will catch up with you again shortly. How adorable were those rainbow lorikeets on the bottle blush flowers? So the flower itself, which is like the red that you could see them sort of swinging off of, it's quite like a bottle. If you imagine a bottle brush, and then on each of the individual little bristles, there are little tiny seeds at the end, and that's what the birds are sort of pulling off. And on a day like today, I imagine they're also sort of drinking the rainwater from the flowers. It is still raining, as you can no doubt see. I have had to close all of the windows and doors because the wind is so strong. It is blowing the rain inside, and so everything is getting a bit wet. But I need to go out there. It's almost lunchtime and I need to go out and harvest some kale and a beetroot and spring onions. Oh, I was sort of hoping that it would sort of slow down a bit. I mean, it's definitely slowed down, but I thought maybe there'd be a bit of a break and I could just dash out quickly. Maybe I will give it like another 5 or 10 minutes and hope that it will have a little break in the rain, and then I will whip out very quickly and harvest the lunch salad items that I need. Okay, it has just stopped raining, so I'm going to very quickly whip out here. I have my new harvest basket that you would have seen, I think, in last week's video, but I've got that. Still so happy with that purchase, by the way. And I'm just dodging all the wet plants. Okay, I might start with spring onions. They look like good ones. I wonder if you can sit there. Okay, spring onions are in the basket. And then we will get some kale. Kale is still looking super good at this time of year. I'll just pop you there just for a moment. I just don't want to dawdle, because I suspect it's going to rain again. Okay, so we've got spring onions and we've got kale. Just going to pop that in. And then we just need beetroot. Now I've had a little critter. You can probably see here these holes. Some little tiny critter at night time has just been digging up my beetroots and eating them. I wouldn't have thought beetroots would be very tasty for, you know, possums or things like that, but apparently they are. I might grab these two here. Just trying to knock some of that dirt off. All right, so I'm just going to cut, you've seen me do this before, I'm just going to cut this sort of the dead leaves and the roots off of this, and then we're going to pop inside, and I might actually make the wraps with you, just in case you need some lunch inspiration. I'll show you what I typically have for lunch on the weekends. So I'm going to make some wraps. I'm going to make myself a wrap for lunch. I'm going to be using the Magimix just to help with the grating and the slicing of the salad sort of bits that I've got here. I won't talk you through the whole thing, but I will just sort of show you what I'm going to pop in it. It is, what am I doing today? I've got some corned beef from the butcher. So it's like an organic corned beef. I've got that sliced really thin. So they will be corned beef and salad wraps. These are my preferred wraps. I have tried many gluten-free wraps, and these are definitely the best ones that I've tried. So I'm going to pop these wraps. I've got some avocado. I'm going to put some of the whole grain seeded mustard. I'm I'm going to use the kale that we harvested together. I'm also going to put the spring onions that we harvested together. I've got carrot, I've got cucumber, and I have the beetroots that we harvested together. So just with the beetroots, as you'll see, I have taken off the sort of the leaves and the roots and things like that, and I've washed them. I will also peel the outer layer here, like this sort of skin, I guess, of the beetroot, and then from there I will grate it. So the Magimix I'm using, you would have seen, I don't know where the camera is angled here, you can see the metal bowl. If you've watched my channel for a little while, you'll know I use the Magimix all the time. I'm not going to go on about it, but for this, I'm just using the food processor attachment. I'm using the middle bowl, and I am using the grating disc. I think this is the smallest one. I think it's the 2mm grade. I'm using the grating disc, and I'm using the slicing disc. So I'm just going to get going with that. As I said, I'm not going to talk you through each of the steps, but I'll kind of do it with you, and you'll be able to sort of see me assemble it as I go. I have this wrap over the entire sort of weekend and for a couple of days, so I actually grate and slice everything today, and then the leftover salad I'll pop into a glass container, and then that way tomorrow I don't need to go through all of this grating and slicing again. All the salad ingredients are just ready to go and to pop straight onto the wrap. Apologies, I didn't show you the end of me making the wrap. The camera battery died. But I just wanted to show you very quickly the end result before I polish this off. It's absolutely delicious. It's probably one of the main things I make on the weekend. Easy, healthy, lots of different salads and things like that. But yes, anyway, that is my weekend lunch. I hope it inspires you to also make maybe a tasty, delicious wrap of your own. Anywho, I'm going to finish this off now, maybe watch a little bit of TV, and then get back to work. You are seeing all of my little bird friends today. So that is the kookaburra that comes every afternoon, and he sort of just patrols the back garden, looking for grasshoppers, which I'm very, very thankful for. Grasshoppers and worms and things like that. He's so entertaining to watch, so funny. He just sort of sits, his, like the eyesight must be incredible. And then he'll, you know, something will take his fancy and then he'll fly down and get it and just make such a commotion often once he goes into like the bushes and things like that. He's quite a big bird. He or she, I don't know. I'm not sure how to tell with a kookaburra. But yes, so we've had the bird very early this morning who was sheltering from the wind and rain. Then we had the rainbow lorikeets on the bottle brush flowers. So funny. How funny were they on some of those branches when the wind picked up, and they're just like cruising in the breeze. And then the kookaburra. So as I said, he is genuinely here every afternoon looking for grubs and grasshoppers and things like that. Definitely my little gardening friend. He's a little garden friend, not scared at all. He's just wandering around, getting all the bugs. Sorry, it is super, super windy today. So it is not raining at the moment, but it is very cloudy, as you can see, and very, very windy, which surprisingly actually makes it quite a good gardening day. So I am just going to start trying to get the plants in, get the beetroots in and things like that. I'll bring you along for that kind of work. Yeah, we might just get going with it in case we do start to get some rain. Alright, so these are the plants that I got at Bunnings. I've got another butterfly bush. These are the smaller variety. Butterfly bushes come in two different sizes. They have ones that are sort of over a metre, but these ones, the actual sort of plant stays around this height, which is about 30 centimetres, and then the flowers themselves only get to about 50 to 60 centimetres on their sort of stalks, which is great. So I've got another one of those. They're the beetroots we're going to plant. And I've got a few, I've got a white and a purple smaller one of these, which you've seen several times. What else have I got? Little cactus. Yeah, not too much. I didn't get too much, but as I mentioned earlier, I think in this vlog, I just had a couple of plants just not doing great, so I've had to sort of reposition them in the hope that they will be able to bounce back. But I'm going to get going with this now and start planting. I also have got some seeds that I'd like to do today, so I might actually pop inside really quickly and grab those. How incredible are these roses looking? Look at them. Oh, the smell, I can smell them standing here. That beautiful rose smell, the delicate fragrance. Anyway, they're just looking stunning. What I'm doing over here is I have a packet of these wildflower seeds that if you've been watching the last few sort of gardening videos, you'll know I've been using in many places throughout the garden. Actually, Exhibit A is here. So if I can get it for the light, all of this here with all those pretty little flowers, the white flowers, they're all wildflowers, and they are from this seed here. Well, that's better when the sun goes behind the cloud. Aren't they gorgeous? They're so hardy as well, the wildflowers, and they're really great for the bees. I see a lot of dragonflies on them and butterflies, which is great. The seed mix does say it is for beneficial insects, so that's great. But where I wanted to pop them today is just here, where there's that sort of gap of dirt. So I'm going to get my very dirty shovel here and just sort of rake the top of the soil. It's quite a narrow little space there, so I don't think I can set up the camera, but I'm gonna just rake that top sort of layer of soil. I'm gonna sprinkle the seeds, and then I will push the soil back over the top, and hopefully we'll get some beautiful wildflowers along here. So I'm gonna get onto that now. And I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago we actually planted these wildflowers together. So you can see these ones are coming up now. They've got all these beautiful white flowers, and then underneath you can kind of see, oh, I don't know if you can see with the sun, you can kind of see the sort of next succession of wildflowers starting, which is lovely. Look how adorable these little white flowers are. They're so sweet. All right, I'm gonna get onto that now. Okay, so seeds are all in. That was the last of the wildflower seeds. So I'll need to pick up another packet at Bunnings. They've just done so well. So the next thing that I want to do is just plant in the beetroot seedlings. I'll just plant them in through here where I've been harvesting the other beetroots. And then I just want to do a bit of a trim back of the kale. You can see here there's a few dead leaves and things like that. So I might just cut it back a little bit and just tidy it up. So I'm going to pop you on a tripod and on a time lapse while I do that. Okay, so I have tidied up the kale. As you can see, I've just cut some of the dead leaves off and just tried to create a bit of airflow sort of through all the leaves. It also will just help with pests and things like that. As we're getting to the warmer months, pests will start to increase, unfortunately, and then my kale will be done anyway. But so that looks much better. And I have also just planted in those beetroot seedlings, as you can see there. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next little project now. So if you've been watching the last few garden videos, you will know that I actually planted some cut flower seeds in here. Some of them have survived, and you can see we're starting to get little seedlings sprout, which is lovely. But particularly in this section here, I'm pretty sure it was in this video, I mentioned that I have a little tiny critter who seems to be coming at night time and eating my beetroots. But he has also been digging up my flower seeds. I'm not sure why they would want to do that. Surely their flower seeds can't be that tasty. In any event, so nothing has come up here because they were dug up. I sort of came out one morning and it was all little holes and things where they've pulled all the seeds out. So I'm going to change my approach, and I'm kind of going to do, I think I was very methodical with how I planted the seeds in rows and things like that. This time I think I'm just going to sort of do a sprinkle of all different types of variety of seeds sort of throughout these two sections, and we'll see what happens and what comes from that. So that's what I'm going to do now. So flower seeds are in. I planted some California poppy, some of the teddy bear sunflower, some straw flower, and some nigella. So we'll just see. I've just sort of scattered them sort of throughout this section here. We'll see what comes of it anyway. And hopefully, with so many seeds in the space, if the little critter comes back at night time, he won't be able to get all the seeds, and we'll still get some seedlings come up. Fingers crossed anyway. My goodness, it has been a weird weather morning. We've just got a heap of rain here, and so I've just popped back inside, and then I've just popped back out. I've planted a few more of the plants. So this is the butterfly bush. So that's all in there. Hopefully that will do well in that spot. And then I've just planted a few more. Oh gosh, the sun's... Oh yeah, you can see there. So this one here, this one, and this one. Just to sort of fill in this space there. So that's probably all I'm going to get to today. I might actually, I need to meal prep my lunches for the week. So I'm just going to grab the harvest basket and we might harvest a few little bits and pieces. Okay, so I've got my harvest basket. Yes, as I was saying, it's a weird weather day. And while it's sort of sunny over that side, if you look over there, that's very ominous. So I think we're going to get a little bit more rain. So I may wind up the gardening for today. But I meal prep my weekly lunches on the weekends. So I'm just going to get some kale and some spring onion. Let me just pop you down here. Okay, so I have kale in the basket. And then I just saw before when I was, I'm just going to put this down here. The tomatoes are doing so well. And look, can you see the little truss of tomatoes there and just in here? And then on this one, just in here. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we will have some delicious tomatoes. I still need to harvest the brown onions. I definitely think, like, see those ones in the back? I feel like they're ready. That looks super, super ready to me. So maybe I'll try and harvest those next week. Not all of them, but just like one or two. And I can use them in some cooking. All right, get some spring onions. I'm just looking for some that have got a decent size. Oh yeah, some of these ones at the back are good. And it's starting to get little flowers on the spring onions. I'm just gonna pop you here. Okay, that's 2. I will probably need more than that. Maybe one more. All right, so I have my kale and I have my spring onions in there, and I've still got all the beetroot, carrot, cucumber and things from yesterday for lunch today. So this will be good for lunches for the week. But I think this video is actually starting to get quite long, so I may bid you farewell now. While I was doing the gardening, I was just having a bit of a think about, I guess, just all the changes and things that have happened to this garden since I've moved in. And I think what I might do is in the coming weeks in a video, I might do a bit of a before and after. I might show you what the garden what this space looked like when I first moved in, and just how much it has changed over the last couple of years, and just sort of how it came to this kind of eventuality, and you know, what my planning process was and design and things like that. And that way, when I'm sort of going through all that, I can give you a bit of an update garden tour, sort of show you what's flowering, all the new sort of changes and growth and things like that. So if you would like to see that video with a bit of a before and after, and I think I might actually have some video footage of the garden over the last couple of years, and just like, for example, this whole space, completely different. This has only been here for maybe a year. This originally was all garden bed, and then I tested it with sort of a temporary kitchen garden structure, and then once that worked really well, I popped this sort of more permanent structure in. The fruit tree area was also very different, but I'm pretty sure I've got video of all of that. So yeah, we might just do a video that's a bit of a before and then throughout the years, and just kind of go through how I built, I think, my sort of dream little garden here, my little whimsical space that just brings me so much joy. So as I said, if you'd love to see that, subscribe, and I will do that video in the coming weeks. All right, I'm going to say farewell. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed sort of being able to spend the last couple of days with you. Yesterday, we just had such a cozy day with all the rain and sort of a nice, slow, easy morning. And then today we've had all the gardening, which has been a lot of fun. Even with the garden, like the cloud cover, gardening's much better when it's cloudy, in my personal opinion, particularly because we get the heat here in Australia. So that bit of cloud cover just protects you a little bit from the heat. All right, I will see you next week for a new video. Bye.